Welcome once again to the Straub Sports Show. I am Ken Straub.
I am Andrew Straub.
And we are the Straub Bros. I am joined once again by my little brother. You look ridiculous, but it is our Thanksgiving show. So first and foremost, we want to be the first to wish you a happy Thanksgiving from us, from our Straub Bro family to yours. Drew, what in the world?
Listen, I like to go out on holidays, and I didn't have anything for Thanksgiving for some reason. So for like $5-10, I got this little hat that, as you can see, I can eat my wings whenever I want.
Those are going to come in handy later on. Hi, Mama. What's going on? And yep. There's Pops is laughing at you. You deserve that one.
Oh, I've seen you wear way worse, Dad. Don't even start.
Ooh, shots fired early. Shots fired. I love it. So, welcome once again, like I said, to the Straub Sports Show. The new lighting on the Straub Sports Show. My new light influencer ring in full effect. I don't know if it's helping. I hope it is. Let's get right into the beginning of the show, pre-review of last week. We've got some big things coming up for you on the Straub Sports Show and the 216 Sports Network. The first thing is, me and this guy will be at the Akron game on Friday at noon. Akron takes on Ohio. We're going to be there. We're going to be on the sidelines. We're going to be up in the press box. We're going to be doing our little media thing as a bro show together for the first time. We are so excited for that. We're going to be taking some videos. That will lead to our important announcement. We are so excited about this. Coming to you live on Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m., the Straub Sports Show will be going live from my couch. As me and this guy will be together. Yes, breaking news. We will be together. We will be doing a full college preview show from 9:30 to right just about noon. We're going to take you right into kickoff of Ohio State, Michigan. We're going to get you ready for rivalry week. We're going to get you ready for all the big games. And of course, we're going to get you ready for Ohio State, Michigan. So check in with us on Saturday. We're going to also do a full review of that Akron, Ohio game. We're going to have some exclusive highlights. We're going to get you some behind the scenes footage. And also, we're going to do a full D2 preview. We're going to preview the Tiffin game. You know, if you check in here on the Straub Sports Show, we do Tiffin time. Shout out to our guy, Keegan. Tiffin takes on Slippery Rock this week, so we will be doing a preview of that. So this week, this Wednesday, this show, there will be no preview. There will be no ride around the country to preview because we'll be taking care of it all for you on Saturday. So make sure you check in with us there. Without further ado, bro, you ready?
Let's do it.
You already know what it's time for. It is time to talk about the top 6 and the rest of the top 25. So it was a chalk week in terms of results, but it was not a chalk week in terms of rankings. So I think what we obviously should do is put it up. Ladies and gentlemen, there is your college football playoff top 6. Now you're going to notice something funny. You're going to go, well, Ken, Andrew, you guys always put yours up too. Where is it? There is no need because we match the committee. Drew, we both think Georgia should be number 1. We both think Ohio State is deserving of the number 2 spot. I have finally convinced you that Michigan deserves to be in the top 4 for now. And I'm with you, even though I recently convinced you to come over to my side. I've then jumped ship with you. We both believe Washington should be number 4. Followed by Florida State and Oregon, respectively. Before we touch on a little bit of that, tell me what you think immediately.
Yeah, this was mainly the same as last week, and nobody really did anything wrong. We'll get into why, we swapped Florida State and Washington in the games coming up, but I think this was a week where everyone just kind of settled in and is getting ready for these next 2 weeks. And these next 2 weeks are going to be a roller coaster ride to see who is going to stay in the top four and who is going to get out of it.
I just want to point out that the screen cap for me sharing the episode has the hat in it, so that's just the best thing ever.
Yes.
I do want to ask you this question. Do you agree that the committee dropped Florida State because of Washington's win, or because they know now Florida State is in real trouble now that they have lost their quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, Washington, I think, has done enough to prove that they deserve a top four spot. So it's not like they're just throwing them in because of Florida State's loss at quarterback, which we'll get into.
Yeah,
But I think, yeah, I think it's totally deserved. If you remember back in 2015, when JT Barrett went out for Ohio State, they dropped in the rankings a little bit too. They stayed in the playoffs due to them winning their conference championship. However, it is deserved because you are now less dominant of a team as you were, losing that kind of caliber of a player.
100%. So it's not just about these guys, although what I do want to point out right here, actually, real quick, before we step into the rest of the top 25, this is all going to take care of itself. Number 2 and number 3 play each other. In 2 weeks, number 4 and number 6 will possibly play each other. If they don't play each other, it's because one of them stumbled and would be out of it anyways. So this is, like I said, this will take care of itself. Now, it's not just about these guys, okay? Let's take a look here at the rest of your top 25, because some chaos starts to happen this week. There are some lurkers. Texas and Alabama being your 2. Louisville with an upset in the ACC championship game, possibly. Iowa, I don't. Who do you like out of this top 25 to make? Well, first of all, do you agree with me about Texas and Alabama being your only true kind of chaos? And who else do you like that snuck in this top 25? I know you. I already know you. Go ahead.
So, yeah, Texas, Alabama, obviously the major threats here. I think the College Football Playoff Committee is really doing a disservice to Louisville here. Maybe not as a chaos maker, but putting them behind a Missouri team. And I get it that, Missouri is a very good team. We've talked about them on the show before. We love them. But, putting a one-loss Louisville team, behind a 10 and kind of showing to the world that they don't really believe that they're going to put Louisville as a shot to get in at all, I think it's kind of disrespectful. But, I think they're a good ball club.
So let me ask you a question. A healthy Florida State team, would you even think Louisville would have a chance? Be honest.
I think it would be a good game. I think Louisville has a very stellar defense. I think on the right day they could really stop any rushing attack you can throw at them. Do they have some times where they look kind of shaky? Yeah, but every team's kind of had that moment. Do I think that they're a top 4 team or maybe a top 6 team? No, I don't think so. But I think that they deserve, more credit than the College Football Playoff Committee is giving them. Yeah, I do.
I like that. Liberty, welcome to the top 25. We are absolutely beyond grateful, beyond happy to have you aboard. We love it. Clemson jumping back in there at the bottom as well. Tulane home strong. NC State, welcome back to the top 25 as well. So, and some teams have dropped. Obviously, Tennessee. Iowa dropped while winning.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and remember about those group of 5 teams, Liberty and Tulane mostly, the best one there gets a New Year's 6 bowl. So that's going to be a battle between Tulane and Liberty to kind of show out in these last 2 weeks to see who really deserves that New Year's 6 bowl coming in bowl game time.
Absolutely. And listen, Tulane has been playing with fire. Okay.
Oh.
They really have. That could easily run out soon. So we'll take a look at that at some point here very, very soon. So let's pull that down. All right, man. Let's take our Thanksgiving ride before our meal. Let's take our cousin walk, even though we're brothers. Shout out to everybody who knows what I'm talking about there. Of course, I am driving. You're done. Whole lot of chalk this week, bro. So let's put it up.
Yeah.
Let's take a little ride. Okay. But there were some important games, but there was some close games. Let's start with our first one. Washington 22, Oregon State 20. The first ever meeting between these two teams while they were both ranked. An absolutely ugly weather game. At one point, Michael Penix Jr. had an hour and 11 minutes between completions. You're talking about one of the most accomplished in terms of skill set in throwing the ball quarterbacks in college. And an hour. The Washington Husky defense. Welcome to the college football playoffs. Welcome to the season. Way to show up when your team needed it the most and when it's needed the most in terms of, the committee. Couple stats to throw out real quick. Jabbar Muhammad of the Washington defense, 2 interceptions. Michael Penix Jr., 13 for 28, only 162 yards, 2 touchdowns. We obviously talked about the weather. DJ Ulegale took him to the brink, but 3 straight incompletions gave them the ball in the fourth quarter and ended the game. DJU, 164 yards, 2 interceptions. I mean, this is kind of the story of his college career. Let's be honest. Gets there, and kind of just doesn't win the big game. Drew, talk to me about it.
Yeah, this was interesting. 0 points for the Huskies in the second half. But the defense, again, they did enough. This Oregon State offense really isn't good. They were kind of relying on their defense for most of the season, as we've seen in this game. But the defense stepped up when it mattered, stepped up when it counted. And even when, like you said, Michael Penix, not a great game, they did exactly kind of what we thought they were going to do. They were going to kind of get a lead late in the game, and they were going to hold on. And I think that's kind of concerning, in my opinion, because teams like Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, regardless of who they're playing, they seem to dominate most of the game, if not all of it. And for Washington, for a lot of these weeks to kind of be barely scraping by, even if it's because of a defense or something like that, I think it's concerning in terms of if we're looking at them playing those other 3 teams.
Wow. So very early on, we have a disagreement. I like this. Okay. 1, can you win a game against a good team? We saw them beat Oregon in a shootout. Okay. Oregon State, some of these other teams, they're built different. They're built different. Okay. Mm-hmm. Oregon State's a little bit better defensively. Okay. So could you win a game that's not just a shootout and not when you just get put up on upset alert like they were against Arizona State? Because that was a horrible game. Yes. Check. 2, can you get punched in the mouth and respond? Check. So for me, I like that. You now see Washington can win the close games, the ugly games, the bad weather games, the games when the team who's on putting them on upset alert gets close, and then they win the track meets as well, as they did against USC and Oregon. So for me, this checks a lot of boxes for me in terms of Washington. But at the same time, and I can understand where somebody looks at it and goes, well, wait a minute, you should be taking care of Oregon State as well. So I can't understand that, but I do really like what I saw. And now it's Washington State. It's rivalry week, like we've talked about. Washington, don't you dare mess up this Oregon rematch on your end. Okay, we'll talk about Oregon on their end, but Washington, you take care of business because we need this again. Anything else before I keep it rolling?
Let's keep going.
All right. Your other big game of the week, Michigan and Maryland. Michigan 31, Maryland 24. Our first time of the year, we get to say Michigan escaped, and it's probably the absolute worst time that we could say that. They threw it, though. They threw the ball 23 times for 141 yards. That's what J.J. McCarthy had. Blake Corum, 94 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hey, just want to say something. Maryland came to play like I tell you they will every single week. Okay, they might not win. Okay, they almost did, but it showed why I have bet on them. Okay, they're punchy, baby. All right, that's exactly that's exactly what we're going for there. Lil Tua, 247, 2 interceptions. Drew, talk to me about the game.
Yeah, listen, Michigan was cruising halfway through the second quarter. It was 23-3. It looked like another, blowout win for Michigan. And even at halftime, they let up a touchdown. It was 23-10. but they just kind of let them back in, and they had to step up kind of late in the game. And that kind of concerns me, similar with Washington, where are we kind of seeing that underdog mentality for Michigan kind of wear away now that Jim Harbaugh is gone for a second straight game? Is that motivating factor gone? JJ McCarthy, 12 for 23, 141 yards and interception. Very underwhelming performance for the entire team that has its biggest game of the year this week, of this upcoming week. So, not the best time to really have a lackluster performance.
No, not at all. And I mean, listen, it's Ohio State, Michigan week. We know. Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
No, this is not the time for Michigan to be doing this. Michigan did pick up their 1,000th win. Hey, their first being in 1879 against Racine College. However, it is being reported that they were going around and looking at plays that were written in the dirt and then transcribing them on the stone tablets. I'm not sure if we should look into this. I'm not sure if maybe we were talking about vacating a couple. Hey, listen, I just report it, okay? Our other big game. Anything else? Any other tramplement of Michigan while we keep it rolling?
No, just we'll see what happens.
We absolutely will. Our other big game of the week: Florida and Missouri. Florida 31, Missouri 33. A great back and forth game. And honestly, this is why when you play Florida, it's a big game. Because when they come to play, they're here. They got the talent. They cannot finish some of these games. We're going to start our injury review. Graham Mertz of Florida was having a good game, 183 yards, 2 touchdowns. Then got hurt towards the very end. Max Brown came in, but Brady Cook and these Tigers, man, resilient. Brady Cook led a fourth quarter game-winning drive, hitting Luther Burden, who Joey Galloway called the best wide receiver in the nation. Just gonna put that. I'm dropping that in there, and I'm walking away. I like Joey Galloway. I'm just saying he called him one of the best wide receivers in the nation. He said there was a V on that. But he hit Luther Burden on a big 4th and 17 to get in the field goal range. Harrison Melvis sealed the deal and did his job. Talk to me about this game.
Yeah, this was a lot closer than we anticipated. Obviously, it's a Florida team, so you can't really, be surprised. But it was a lot closer than we thought. 1,008 yards between both teams. And you know what? Shout out to kicker Harrison Melvis. Hit the game-winning field goal and then hit the Gator chomp as he's walking off the field. Absolute swagger from kickers. I love it. Any special teams unit that gets swagger gets me fired up.
That's because we're absolutely going to rip you to shreds when you do not do your job.
Listen, there are highs in this position and there are very big lows. So you got to take the good with the bad. But listen, this Missouri team, a little bit of a scare and probably a little bit of a unfamiliar territory, being this good and getting a close game against a not so good team. Usually it's the other way around for them. So good game for them, and even though they just snuck it out, it's a building win for the next couple, next year or two.
I agree. Let's keep it going. But okay, by the way, I got your message. I got the Heisman added in. Louisville 38, Miami 31. Survival weekend for the Cardinals. And you wonder why the committee is disrespecting them. Okay. I'm just throwing it out there, little bro. Okay. The Cardinals clinch their spot in the ACC championship game. Sorry, a little out of place today. Their ACC title game appearance.
It's the hat.
It is the hat. And took home the Howard Schellenberger Trophy. Another back and forth game up until 14 fourth quarter points helped pull away for the Louisville Cardinals. Jack Plummer, no relation, which, by the way, I was not 100% sure on, and I was very disappointed to find out that was not Plummer's kid. Like that was absolutely just 100% disappointing. 308 yards, 3 touchdowns, none bigger than the last one. Okay, 4:17 remaining. That would be the last score of the game. Tyler Van Dyke and the Hurricanes would get 2 more chances. Couldn't get in the end zone. Even though they threw a Hail Mary and it was caught at the 5-yard line, tackled short. Louisville now has a date set with a wounded Florida State team. Talk to me.
Listen, week after week, we always say it when these Florida or Miami games come up. We're like, yeah, they're not that good this year, but you never know. And I guarantee people are rolling their eyes and are like, oh, there's no shot. This is what we mean when we say that Florida and Miami are never out of games. Just people, they go 5-5. They can go 2-8, and they'll come up and they'll play their hearts out against a ranked team and somehow win or make it close. But regardless, Louisville could not stop Florida's offense all day. Tyler Van Dyke, 327 yards and a touchdown. Mark Fletcher, 17 carries, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. Xavier Restrepo, 8 receptions, 193 yards, and a touchdown. It's the first time I'm going to do it. This man was eating. This man was eating today. But unfortunately, fortunately for Louisville, they were able to throw against this just awful passing defense of Miami and got away from it and got they were able to sneak away with the win. Louisville 10-1, a pretty decent shot to win their ACC championship game. It's a better resume than the loser of Ohio State, Michigan. Just saying. If Washington beats Oregon, Georgia beats Bama, I'm just saying there's a shot. I'm not just saying, but I'm just saying there's a shot.
Okay. All right. Now, why? Why is there a shot? We're going to talk about it. Florida State, 58. Northern Alabama, 13. Irrelevant. The real story. Jordan Travis went down with a very, very ugly injury. Not going to talk about it. Not going to describe it. What we do want is prayers, positive vibes, all your way. Get better, get healthy, get ready for next year, get ready for the combine the best you can, get ready for the draft. But it is, fair to mention, Tate Rodmaker came in relief, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns. Keon Coleman, 1 touchdown. Jaheim Bell. Those are going to be the key going forward for Florida State. Get open and make easy plays for your quarterback. This was a kid who was recruited, so it's not like this just throwing some bum in. But at the same time, it happened. Anything to throw in there?
All I gotta say is don't count Florida State out just yet. That team is incredibly talented, and remember 2015 Ohio State, 3rd-string quarterback coming in. No one thinks that they're going to do well, and they win the whole dang thing. So obviously the quarterback is in a very important position, but don't count them out just because they lost him.
No, I 100% agree. And I don't like that this is a theme this week, but we have to move on to the next quarterback injury. Oklahoma 31, BYU 24, another injury. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel was slammed down hard, slammed his head to the turf, would leave the game and not come back. It was called an upper body injury. I mean, I think I don't want to call it full-on garbage, but it looked like a neck, head, concussion type deal. However, another theme this week, which I'm happy to talk about, Oklahoma's defense took care of things. 3 turnovers, scoring 21 points off of those turnovers. Dylan Gabriel, get yourself healed up, get yourself healthy. Bigger things ahead for you as well. Drew, touch on that.
Yeah. In terms of Gabriel, I hope he's okay. He's a supreme talent. I saw him at UCF before he moved to Oklahoma. Absolute stud that could probably play at the next level, and we'll probably get to see that at some point. But if we're, switching to the game, this is why I avoid BYU games. I forgot last week, and they proved to me why. No momentum going whatsoever into this game against an Oklahoma team that was just absolutely surging, and they go stride for stride with them the whole way and outgained Oklahoma 390 to 368. So, just weird BYU things that happen for some reason.
I mean, you couldn't show
it's
up.
In that Mormon water, I guess.
Oh, careful now. Bro, here's what we are gonna do. We may not be doing any preview, but we're gonna get in and we're gonna take our ride around the country and finish up the rest of this review. Now, I know normally everybody would be like, well, this is going to be the most exciting part of Ken's spot. This is going to be the most exciting part. Everyone knows what score I'm going to talk about first. However, some other stuff going on here, and it is absolutely extreme brotherly jealousy, all coming from me. Wake Forest 7, Notre Dame 45, and the cover. We will talk about that later because that was beautiful. But more importantly, Drew, little bro, tell us about your trip to the motherland, the Holy Land, the holy mecca of college football. Tell me about your trip to South Bend, Indiana.
Oh, it was absolutely incredible. A very long drive that took a lot out of me, but it was well worth it. Here, we'll put some pictures on the screen.
I want to pause before your picture. The Pac-2 will let us down again. Mel, you are so hurtful right now.
Live the Pac-2.
You are so very hurtful. Okay. We believe in Washington and Oregon, although for some reason we're going to end up with just Alabama, Georgia, and the two Big Ten teams somehow. I don't even think that's possible, but that's what's going to happen. Shout out to you, Mel. I apologize. Back to the there she is. There it is. My hands are up.
It was absolutely the stadium, the campus was absolutely gorgeous, insane. You see the stadium there is absolutely beautiful, and the game wasn't too bad itself. Absolute domination. There you see me on the 50. Got the chance to get on there. Absolutely awesome. Shout out to again Andrew Cross and the Cross family for the amazing opportunity. Got some behind the scenes footage. Not allowed to show anything, but
I'm saving the best for last. There it is.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. Look, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Sam Hartman. Beautiful man right there. 277 yards, 4 touchdowns. And Ochik Esteme Jr., a junior in college, probably the last games of their collegiate career, 115 yards and a touchdown. Absolutely, or last home game.
Last home game, yes.
An incredible experience, but a dominating game by Notre Dame. And like I said, an incredible experience that I will never forget. And it was just so beautiful.
One last look. There's touchdown, Jesus. I've been there before. It is the most beautiful place ever. You did get some love. You absolutely already know you did. It threw me off because all of these comments showed up at the same time as you were talking about that. Audric Estime, or if you are a friend of the pod, Seddon, because that's what we call him over here. Number Seddon, because he just runs through you. Okay. Possibly his last game. I'd love to see him come back. I know he won't. But absolutely. And you know what, Mel? Yes, you lucky Anna, the Pac-2 forever. Here, I think we're gonna tease it right now. Okay. Saturday, during our live show, Mel of 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth will join us during our show to talk Ohio State, Michigan. I don't need to say anything else. That's it. Okay? Period. There you go. That one's for you. Some moms, but that one was for you. All right. Now that the podcast has been blessed, okay? Let's keep it rolling. Not a lot of great ones, but we already talked about that. That's why we snoozed through the preview last week. Alabama 66, Chattanooga 10. Woo! Although Jalen Monroe, 197 yards, 3 touchdowns before he took a seat. Drew, we had another kid drop the ball before he went into the end zone this week. Come on, man.
We're not making this a trend. We can't okay. I'll give Alabama in general as a team a pass.
It was a backup.
I'm getting to this. I'll give Bama in general a pass. It was a backup quarterback. They were down 52-10. It wasn't a close game. It wasn't so I'm not going to give Alabama as a team any slack on it or any criticism on it. However, this might be worse for the player because as a backup quarterback in backing up a quarterback that is killing it, anytime you are now in a competition, that is in the back of Saban's mind every single time you touch the field is you don't finish plays.
Right. What is the best thing you can be as a backup? Ready.
And
What is
reliable.
the other? Right. Okay. Ready, reliable. Coach needs to know if something is to happen, I can go right here. We keep rolling. Playbook doesn't change. We keep going. You just showed, man. I hope this kid don't go down because now I don't know what to do. So just ridiculous. Other than that, Alabama. We'll talk about
it's
Iron
Chattanooga,
Bowl.
man.
I know, but still, you know what? Tell that to Auburn. Spoiler alert. Tell that to Auburn that it's just Chattanooga or that it's just, we won't say yet. Now, let's keep it rolling. Penn State 27, Rutgers 6. Yeah, Drew, your boy Drew, goes down for Penn State, but it really doesn't matter. Katron Allen runs for 2, and backup quarterback Bo Parabola ran for 1 as well, as Penn State turned into Michigan from last week and just ran it down Rutgers' throats. Rutgers, thanks for coming along. It's been nice. Anything to add in?
Penn State does what it always does against lower teams. They lean on that rushing attack in their defense, and they make it happen. They just can't do it against bigger teams, unfortunately.
Nope. Little game, James. Sorry, James Franklin. It's what it is. Ole Miss 35, Louisiana Monroe 3. Yep. That's what I got. What do you got?
Surprised they didn't score more.
Right. Conservative offense from Ole Miss. Let's keep it rolling. Like I said, there is a lot of chalk this week. Tulane 24, FAU 8. Do want to point out Michael Pratt became Tulane's all-time passing leader. Shout out to you. Congratulations. Anything to put in there?
Finally a good game from Tulane, and if they keep it rolling, a New Year's Six Bowl is in sight.
Yes, it is. Don't you hate it when your notes reset? Man.
Yeah.
Live on the pod, baby. And we're right back. Our other game, great game. Arizona 42, Utah 18. Wildcats are going to be a player next year. Okay? I'm putting it out there now. This team has already improved, and they've continued to prove throughout the season. Utah ran out of time, ran out of injuries. I got no beef with the kids on this team quitting. I mean, what do you mean? I get it. They're banged up. They're hurt. They can't go anywhere. They can't win anything. They're checking out. I understand. That's a beat up and wounded Utah team. I absolutely understand it. Before I throw it to you over to that, shout out to Keegan. Keegan just shot me a text, giving us some appreciation, giving us some love. No questions from Keegan this week. We're letting them boys get ready as much as they can, but we're still going to preview that. Drew, tell me about Arizona and Utah.
I first
maybe
to apologize.
Maybe he's not
for
gonna,
Arizona.
Maybe he's not going to talk to us about Arizona.
I thought that Utah. Oh, right, we're here. We here?
You're good.
We here. All righty. I wanted to. They won't let me apologize to Arizona. I wanted to apologize. I thought Utah was going to swarm them. I thought that defense was going to obliterate them. And it was kind of the opposite. Arizona came out punching. First possession of the game, they scored a touchdown, blocked the Utah punt for a touchdown. Then they forced Utah to punt again, scored a touchdown, and then intercepted Utah. Utah scored at the end of the first half, but the game was basically already decided by them. Absolutely storming right now. And the only thing that I hope for is that they don't lose too many guys and they keep rolling this into next season because they will be amazing to watch if they do.
Oh, absolutely. I'm excited for Utah next year. Like, I'm already putting it out there. I'm putting the good vibes out there. I'm already excited. Let's keep it going. Our number 1 team in the land, Georgia 38, Tennessee 10. Bulldogs are scary. Volunteers are not. Okay, they're good, but just they're average. But man, these Bulldogs, They're scary. They're playing great football at the exact right time. Like I said that last week, man, it's almost like their head coach has won 2 national championships in a row and kind of knows when to get his team right and rolling right when they need to be, huh? How about that? Shout out to Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. You don't want no smoke right now. What do you think?
Listen, this is different week, same result. Georgia is making it look like they're playing D2 schools every week right now. It is absolutely ridiculous. 472 yards versus 277 yards. 41 minutes of possession. That is like here, we'll throw another one off. They were eating, giving the Bulldogs a bone. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I don't think there's any reason why I should think anyone is going to be able to challenge them the rest of the way.
I'm contemplating making you wear the hat every week. That is amazing. Or we're just gonna have to keep it to the side. I think that's a new thing. I think we're just gonna pull a leg off when it's time to eat. All right. Let's keep it moving. Iowa 15, Illinois 13.
Barn burner.
The damn over was 30 and a half.
I told you. I
had it. I'm sideways in here.
Had the under, baby.
I talk to me. If you're not connectioning out on us again.
Nope, I think we're good. Listen,
that's all right.
Iowa's unders always hit. Oh, I'm good.
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Listen, Iowa's unders always hit. I should be running the bet segment from now on. Iowa unders always hit. I said this last week. Just saying.
All right, now listen, because now, all right, everybody's going to get to hear a personal discussion that I have with my brother, but it's just going to be in front of all of you. When your 3-team over parlay hits $300, you can take it over the bet segment. Okay, go sit your ass down. Okay. Now you're giving out secrets on the pot. Okay. We're gonna keep it rolling. Clemson 31, North Carolina 20. We nailed this. Okay. Dabo bringing all the guts. Stocks are rising. North Carolina is ready for hoops. Checked out. See you later. That's fine. I'm ready for it as well. Are we surprised? No, we're not surprised. But talk to me.
Yeah, the second called game of the week. North Carolina is really crawling to the finish line here, and unfortunately, they came up against a Clemson team that's actually looking ready to compete for the first time all season. So this wasn't a surprise.
4 losses in, no shot at the ACC title, no chance at the college football playoffs. Welcome in, Clemson. Way to be. Way to show up. Way to whoop my butt and then get it rolling. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Oh, ready to keep going?
Yeah.
Let's keep going. Our number 2 team in the country, Ohio State 37, Minnesota 3. Marvin Harrison, no. Kyle McCord, Travion Henderson. That was the show. 2 touchdowns for McCord. 1 to Marvin Harrison Jr. Henderson, 146, 2 touchdowns. Okay, that right there, not the beautiful picture that my son made with his hand and painted it like a turkey. It was just perfect. That right there. Shout out to that. That I don't got turkey legs to pull off. I got the kids drawing. Sorry, I trump you by cuteness. This Ohio State running attack is going to absolutely be the key right now against Michigan. Ken, you say Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player on the field every week. Yes, he is. But you know what? Sometimes it is possible to shut out a wide receiver. Okay? When the offensive line is moving and they're making holes, you're not going to shut out a running back and you're not going to shut out a kid this talented. Okay? Like I said, we all know it's Ohio State and Michigan week. Okay? The Buckeyes are ready. You can argue that Michigan is not. That has not happened in 2 years. Now, I know we got a lot going on there in Michigan, but talk to me.
Yeah. Ohio State's figured out their offense. Kinda. Kind of.
Kind of.
The offense was a little slow, 13 points at half, but defense giving up 3 points the whole way is the strategy they've leaned on all season. And they will continue to do it because that's how they're going to roll. And it's a very risky strategy going into the college football playoff of we're not going to start scoring until the third quarter. But, hey, it's worked so far, so let's see how long they can roll the dice.
Now, I'm full disclosure because I do some of my betting odds and my betting really early because obviously we come in and we talk on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so I have to be prepared. But there are a lot of bets I end up locking in Saturday morning, Friday night. I put the overs in that over bet in on Saturday or Friday night. I really want to touch and flirt with whatever, and I'm going to look it up in the middle of the pod. Whatever the first half under is in this Ohio State-Michigan game, I'm going to touch on that because Michigan just can't throw it, and they're going to try to run and be physical with Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't get started playing offense until about midway through the second into the third quarter. So, yeah, whatever that first half under is, go ahead and hammer that home. Hey, we got to talk about your guy. Well, we got to talk about your guy a little bit more after the review, but we got to talk about your guy's team. Oregon 49, Arizona State 13. Bo Nix, baby. 6, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I'm counting with my son. That's how many touchdowns he had. Okay? What you got?
Listen, I mean, first the result. Yeah, 49-13. That was easily predictable. But yeah, Bo Nix, he's making this Heisman conversation really interesting now when it wasn't for a little bit.
Ooh.
And
teaser, because we're going to touch on that here soon.
But I will say it's Arizona State, so I can't be incredibly impressed.
You got another leg? You got another? Yeah.
No, he doesn't get a leg. He doesn't get a leg because it's Arizona State, but he'll get a wing. He'll get a wing.
I'll take a wing. 6 touchdowns. A wing. I don't care. 6 touchdowns is a wing. I'll take it.
I will say, though, those 6 touchdown passes were in the first half, tying the single game record. So that's even more impressive, if I'm being honest.
Bo was eating. Let's keep it going. Oklahoma State 43, Houston 30. Your comeback kids of the week, as I predicted right here on this show, Ollie Gordon. What did I tell you? How many touchdowns did I tell you he was going to have? I told you he was going to have 2 tutties. My guy went for 3 tutties. Okay? 164 yards on the ground. Allen Bowman, 348, 2 touchdowns. Let's go. Oklahoma State back after a brutal beatdown by UCF last week. Talk to me.
Yeah, listen, Houston tried their best. They had a 23-9 lead with about 4 minutes to go in the second, but then they just decided not to score until 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth. So, that's how that works. And by then, Oklahoma State had scored 36 and then scored again to put the game away. So, while Oklahoma State, very impressive, good bounce back game, Houston, you got to do better there, man. Up 14 going into half, and then you just blow it.
It's a theme for Houston as well. All right, bro. I love you, of course. You know that. 12 years my junior. I love you very much. I'm going to let you drive a little bit because I got to fix something. Kansas 31. Kansas State 31. Kansas 27. Kansas State rallies again, but this time from down 11, and this time they complete the comeback against Kansas. Talk to me.
Yes. Listen, this is the third game we called because we both called Kansas State beating up on Kansas. Both teams, I will say, play great. But I will say Kansas State has played and won in these big games before. Kansas still needs to kind of get that gritty win before they can be a legit Big 12 threat. But Kansas State's been there before. They had that good win a couple years ago, and they won their conference championship last year. And so I think that's what this big game was about. Great game, though, from both sides. Giddens, the running back for Kansas State, 102 yards and a touchdown. Devin Neal, 138 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns for Kansas. This was a back-and-forth game, but yeah, Kansas State, I think, just has that gritty, determinative win in their bag before that they were able to pull out. I don't think Kansas has just yet.
No, I agree. I think Kansas has gotten lucky a little bit this year. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
The
that's fair.
Oklahoma, if Oklahoma plays how I know it's easy to go, well, yeah, if any team plays how they're if Oklahoma played how they were supposed to, they they get walked. But hey, they took care of business. Kansas State took care of business. Kansas State should have taken care of business against Texas. They went for it on a fourth down and over. It just blew my mind because they had every opportunity to kick the field inside the game. So Kansas State has done this. Kansas State, like you said, won the Big 12 last year. They're not unfamiliar to these games in this scenario. So, but bye-bye, Kansas. Back, like I said, like North Carolina, on to the hoops. Come on down. Hey, speaking of Texas, Texas 26, Iowa State 16. Texas pulls away in the fourth quarter after pretty much an ugly game. Quinn Ewers, 281, 2 touchdowns. CJ Baxter, 117 as well. Other than this, is a really ugly game. Anything you want to throw in?
Yeah, listen, Iowa State put up a good fight, but Texas finally looks stable, unlike my internet connection has been this entire stream. And I will say, Texas looking stable. It's looking scary because they hung on just enough to kind of be right there in that college football playoff contention. They stayed alive, so we'll see.
Don't talk about the internet connection. The minute you said that, you scrambled out for a second. So stop jinxing. Man drove home from Cincinnati across Ohio and he left the internet back with him. Our last ride through of the review. LSU 56, Georgia State 14. Jaden Daniels 413 yards, 6 touchdowns throwing, 6 throwing touchdowns. That probably sounds better. 96 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I don't care if it's Georgia State. I don't care if it's Georgia A&M. I don't care if it's Georgia Institute of the Blind. I don't care if it's the Georgia Institute of guys who don't play football. That's impressive. Okay? That's impressive. No?
Georgia State, man. And this is a team that puts up 50 against SEC teams. You're gonna tell me that doing this against Georgia State's any big of a deal? Come on.
This in Oregon is the best offenses in the country.
Yeah, I agree. I just it's impressive the amount, but I think it's only impressive because they kept him in for the entirety of the game.
I do feel you there. All right, question for you on the fly here. I'll let you decide. Do you want to go Heisman or new segment?
Let's go new segment.
Let's go new segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your honorary Straub Bro of the week. That's going to say Heisman for 1 second because that was supposed to say, hold on a second. We're fixing it on the fly. Your honorary Straub Bro family of the week, where every week we're going to give out who we feel is an honorary Straub Bro in terms of a player. Put it up.
We'll get there.
The little thank you, Mel. Why are you an SEC team playing the little?
We've been saying this for weeks.
Which I got to do the story then. Growing up, obviously, I inherited the Notre Dame fandom from my grandfather, our grandfather Andy, who, whenever you would ask who Notre Dame was playing, would tell you St. Francis Academy of the Deaf and Blind. Thank you. So shout out to Mel, who did not know that, but then threw in that Little Sisters of the Poor. Thank you. Listen. Mel almost was in. There was an issue there with the connection. We were all confused. But like we said, shout out to Mel in the comments. And like I said, another teaser: Ohio State, Michigan talk Saturday morning. Mel will join us live for that. Do not miss it. Back to that. Your honorary Straub Bro family of the week. I'm going to start my Straub Bro of the week. Somebody who I have not given enough love and enough credit to on this podcast. Bo Nix, have a day, sir. 404, 6 touchdowns, a 99.5 QBR. Okay. That is almost how the percentage Michael gave that he wasn't coming back. Okay. That's what this dude QBR was for a football game. Okay. Drew, who is your honorary Straub Bro of the week?
I had so many guys in my head this week, but I feel like because I got to see him live, we're going to put him back up there. The man with the glorious beard that he finally grew back, Sam Hartman,
And
277 yards, 4 touchdowns, 21 for 29. And he came out after the game and absolutely tried to rev up the fans. It was absolutely amazing. Great guy from what I could tell. That is my Straub Bro of the week. We're just going to leave it out there for another few seconds for everyone in the chat.
Absolutely. Listen, fall in love like I did all year. And from the first moment I saw this man, I just want to point out, while I was holding your nephew, oh, here it is in the chat. Give him his shout out.
Justin. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. You and your brother and your whole family gave an amazing experience. Thank you again, man. Appreciate it. Hopefully the drive wasn't too bad, but I think it was worth it.
Justin, if you ever want to have the real Notre Dame fan come to a game, please holla at me. I would love you very much. But what I was going to say is, as I hold your nephew, who it's definitely not like this anymore, it's much more like this. But when I hold your nephew and we sing the alma mater at the end of the game, you got to be there and experience it live. So that was absolutely amazing. I'm glad you got to understand why it's the best venue in college sports. It's the best team in college sports. It's just the best thing in the history of the earth since, the earth was ever existed. That doesn't make any sense, but I don't care. Nothing matters when you're talking about that place right there. Oh, yes, sir. I see you, Justin. I see you seeing me, sir. I see you seeing me. We'll talk. Bro, it isn't just about an honorary bro of the week. It's about the Straub family, because this is a family thing. Who is your Straub family of the week?
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of boring on this show. I pick the player that leads the team that I went to the game for, and I'm picking the team of the game that I went for. We're gonna show it again, Notre Dame. And honestly, it was an absolute insane performance by Notre Dame. 45-3, absolutely balled out in front of the home fans, made an amazing atmosphere. And I want to shout out, oh my God, I can't remember his name. There is a man who, during like the third or fourth quarter, they'll pan to, takes off his shirt and just wails it in front, like on the big screen, and everyone loses their mind. It was an amazing atmosphere. We absolutely loved it. I helped someone do the push-ups after the touchdown. That was amazing. It was absolutely incredible.
You are everyone here, and when you watch this back, you are watching. This is how people fall in love. This right here is how people fall in love. This man has been to a billion UC games, University of Cincinnati, okay? And I've never heard you talk like that. Welcome. Come on, baby. Come on.
Settle down.
It is a glorious place. It is a fantastic place. It will absolutely make you fall in love with it and make you fall in love with college football. It is everything that is right with college football. I am jealous of all hell because I have only been there so far to watch a hockey game. So I have not been able to actually see my own team in that own building. So I am jealous of you, but I'm also very glad you got to understand just how beautiful and crazy it can make you be. My honorary Straub family of the week. All right, you want to talk about family. New Mexico State. Stand up and have a day. Do you know why it does matter if Alabama plays Chattanooga? Because Auburn can't beat New Mexico State. Handled Auburn 31-10. Their first win over an SEC school. Diego Pavia, 201 yards, 3 touchdowns. New Mexico State got paid $1.5 million to go in to Auburn and get their butts whooped. No, they went in there to whoop some butt, get their bag, and get out. Shout out to you boys. That is absolutely what's up. You absolutely deserve the first ever honorary Straub Family of the Week award. And of course, Notre Dame gets it as well. And I didn't even give it to them. Bo Nix, Sam Hartman absolutely tore it up. But now that we debut a new segment, everybody knows what it's time for. Head slaps and chest pumps, baby. I'm going to let you start on the head slaps because I'm going to talk my talk this week.
No, that's fair. I got some decent head slaps. Well, I got one big one and then two other ones. Arizona, that's my bad. I hope you know that I still love you, that I still cherish what we have. Please don't just throw me out. I still love you. It was a moment of weakness. I apologize. We'll get right next week, I promise. My other two kind of small ones, Florida. The 1 week I don't warn people to watch out for Florida. They make it a game. Happens as always. And as always, I got to stop talking about their games. BYU, just I need their season to end so they stop making me look silly.
We missed a game. We missed a game on our review, and I hate to bring it up under head slaps because it's not fair. But if everyone recalls, there was only a couple weeks ago that somebody decided to clip myself. Now I don't have a clip of you, but bro, would you like to talk about your Cincinnati Bearcats?
No,
we'll keep giving that Notre Dame love. We'll keep talking about your trip to Notre Dame. That's okay.
I said they were gonna lose this week,
and West Virginia made that come true. Hey, my head slap. I told you Missouri in the points. I do apologize for that. Other than that, I nailed this week. All right, I'm talking this week. Okay, I killed it this week. Okay, Missouri, like I said, I did give you that one. But before I do, give yourself a little bit of love, though.
Yeah, okay, listen. While I did have some weird ones this week, I had a lot of love this week. I said the top teams were going to roll.
No, I will not, Nikita.
I said the top teams were going to roll. They did. I said Washington was going to keep it close but win. They did. I said I liked Louisville to come out on top, but it'd be a good game. That's exactly what happened. I said Texas to keep it close. That's exactly what happened. I said Oregon was going to dominate. They did. And then both of us, we both said Clemson was going to upset. They did. And we both said Kansas State was going to win. And they did. So listen, there's a lot to bump your chest about this week.
You are absolutely right. He hit the teams that I needed to talk about, so I don't need to mention those. Rank chalk, like we just said, we knew that was going to happen. I mean, let's be real. An easy week means easy results. We told you that was going to happen. That's why we flew through it. I know that's kind of redundant. My overs, baby. My overs went to the wherever. They went to town. They went to the market. Okay. They came back all home. All right. They went to the bank. Okay. If you played those overs, you absolutely rolled out. And if you happen to match them with the fact that ESPN Bet was offering a promotion where if you put in 10, you get 200 free bets. I'm just saying you can make some things happen and then some things other happen. And your Black Friday is really nice. I'm just saying. Okay, we've had some down weeks. That's why I'm a little bit pumped about this one. Okay, we've had some down weeks. My bets have been good. The parlays have not been put all together correctly. So I'm pumping my chest on that one. Okay, sir. Now, we didn't forget about it. So we're going to jump into it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer a Heisman race. Okay, we know who's going to the Heisman house. Well, the Heisman ceremony. I apologize. Okay. Not to necessarily the Heisman house. Throw it up. Here you are. Your new leader in the clubhouse, not just based on opinion, but based on money out of Vegas. Yes, there he is. Mr. Bo Nix, my honorary Straub bro of the week. 3,539 yards, 40 total touchdowns, 89.7 QBR, third in the nation. Jaden Daniels, I think, is number 2. Look at that. 46 total touchdowns and 1,000 yards rushing. Leading the number 1 offense in the country, 94.9 QBR, 31,000 yards, and he has Brian Kelly as a coach. So unnecessary. Michael Penix Jr., no fault of his own. Some of these guys are just having outstanding just years and have just, I think the problem is too, Michael Penix has been number 1 for so long, we've gotten bored. And I don't think that's fair to him, but I also don't think he's the leader in the clubhouse. 33 total touchdowns, 85 QBR. Marvin Harrison Jr., I still think he gets in the room. I don't think they just want to bring quarterbacks in the room. So I think because of that and because he's the most talented, well, probably the most talented, he's going to be there as well. Over 1,000 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns, 62 receptions, 17 yards a carry. That was 18 last week. So, I mean, the man is averaging almost 20 yards every time you throw him the ball. Your cross-offs this week, Carson Beck, Georgia, as it's there. He's playing good. It's just Georgia's not worried about no individual stats, man. They don't care. Okay. And I'm not saying that these other guys don't want to win, but just they're not doing that. And Carson Beck isn't the quarterback that some of these guys are. And I don't think that's disrespectful to Carson Beck. Jordan Travis, Florida State quarterback, get well soon, get healed up, get ready for the combine. Also, it's also fair to mention Oklahoma quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who was in this, Heisman kind of conversation as well, hurt. Drew, I'm talking too long and I apologize. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, listen, we're a little different.
Ooh.
I do not have Marvin Harrison on my list at all anymore. I think,
and I'm going to put this up while you discuss that.
Yeah, that's interesting take there. I just think that if you look at last week's performance, I think it's one of those situations where people finally can see that he can be taken out of games. Mm-hmm. And it was very similar with, Ollie Gordon when we had him up there. To win a Heisman as a non-quarterback, you cannot disappear from games. And that's kind of what he did. However, if we're looking at the other 3, I also have some difference of opinion.
Ooh.
My number 1 is Jaden Daniels. I think that strength
Mr. Bo Nix bandwagon driver himself has handed me the keys, because of your horrible driving last week, and now I'm in charge. That's fine with me.
Listen, I think Jaden Daniels has the best strength of schedule out of all 3 of those guys. He's the best in QBR. He's the best dual threat quarterback and has the most total yards out of any of the 3. And I just think that he is one of those guys that's an absolute playmaker. And I think while Bo Nix is an incredible athlete and does amazing things with his arms, I think Jaden Daniels just has a better season. I wouldn't say he's a better athlete, but I think he's had a better season.
First of all, I need to correct myself. So I'm going to make that correction first. Jaden Daniels, according to FanDuel, is currently minus 110 to win the Heisman. Bo Nix is second at plus 125. So he has actually surpassed Bo Nix. I apologize. The season this man is putting together is ridiculous, but we value winning so much on these individual awards sometimes, but continue to go off on it.
And see, this is where I'm glad you mentioned that, because this is where I think you're going to really look at me side-eyed. I have Michael Penix Jr. over Bo Nix as well. I still have Bo Nix at 3rd. And I think this is just because when they played each other, he outplayed Bo Nix. And I think that's very important when you look at things.
My man was swept all up in the ducks, was quacking, was flapping, was doing all this stuff. And
I love Oregon, don't get me wrong.
Rabbit season, duck season, rabbit season, duck season. You look, this guy over here don't know what he's doing. Listen, I don't disagree with you. I've liked Michael Penix Jr. all year. I think he's had a great year. I just think there's some boredom that has happened and has vaulted Bo Nix up. Bo Nix is putting up some just ungodly stats right now, but so is Jade. Yeah. So is he. What are we gonna do about those losses though? That That is what eventually is going to hurt him. When you're sitting there with 3 losses, okay, and you're not playing any more meaningful football from this point forward, it's going to hurt you when you're going to get to see these guys on the big stage. But
Yeah, remind me, do bowl games and playoff games count towards Heisman?
I have to double check because with all of the new timing of the bowl games, I'm not
Yeah.
100% on the fly. I'm gonna hit the Google machine, and we're gonna look when the Heisman Trophy ceremony is.
The Heisman Trophy is given out before any bowl games are played. Well, that's in
Perfect.
2016. So I don't know if that's still true.
I'm gonna go yes, and I know this is like this is horrible pot right now. Us trying to figure this out on the fly like that, as you're asking. I asked the questions on the fly. Okay, all right. Mel says no. Okay,
No. It's actually but bowl games
so
after.
so we
Perfect.
get
See,
you
this
get
is why we
championship
got him
weekend.
here.
Thank you, Mel. So championship weekend, gonna be a lot of players. We could literally have Bo and Michael Penix Jr. in championship weekend battling for the Heisman because it's going to be the game and they're all the Heisman. This is for the Heisman. This is for the Heisman. This is for the Heisman. Jane Daniels are going to mention. And then this is for the Heisman. And then, like
that's
Mel
very
said,
true.
most noon games, let's be honest, they get ratings, but they're not what the 3:30 and the 7 o'clock games are. Everybody's tuning in at noon for Ohio State, Michigan. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be on a big screen as long as they win and they can get then to the championship game. You do that as well. On the fly, making it happen. Once again, shout out to Mel, 216 Sports Network, our boss, our guy, our leader, taking care of us on the fly like that. We absolutely appreciate you. Heisman's over. The race is over. Not the race is over. Us talking about the race is over. It's time to do what we do. Oh, and Drew, we absolutely failed this week.
It's pretty of you.
We are an hour into the show. No. Listen, we'll take a pause. Full disclosure, okay, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going back to the main logo. This guy drove from Cincinnati today, okay, up back home. Is literally in his corner of the office somewhere with his makeshift internet that he brought home with college duct tape together and is trying to get this going with his ridiculous hat on. Okay. How enough people haven't eaten that you have any part of that hat left is I have no clue. Okay. I'm running off of 4 hours of sleep. I was with Mel yesterday doing some interviews and some other things with a Cleveland soccer team that usually goes by a candy bar name as well called the Crunch. I'm not going to talk about much more than that. Stay tuned is all I've got to say for that because that is super exciting. So we're a little wonky today. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. We're all over the place today. I apologize, but you're having fun with us as always. It's like family. Listen, you're going to have to deal with this tomorrow, but at least every once in a while we make you laugh a little bit more than, Uncle Charlie does. I don't know. I'm just saying. Okay. We ready now?
Sure.
This guy. Let's do it. Let's hit our review. It's time to talk the footy. Okay? We had some good games. Oh, did I say review? Preview. Duh. We have some good games. Not we had some good games. We have some good games. And we're going to talk about them because this is a great slate coming up. And I know this is the best college football weekend, and I know it's rivalry weekend, but you absolutely can get up just a little bit early. And while you're watching us on Saturday morning at 9:30, the Straub Sports Show college football preview, put the footy on in the background, and we'll make it happen. Our first game to talk about, Drew, Sheffield United in Bournemouth, 16th versus 18th in a monster relegation battle. Bournemouth 4 points ahead and clear of the relegation zone, but only 10 goals and 11 goals apiece. But I think for the most part, this is going to be an open game. It has to be, no?
Yeah. Listen, this is a relegation fight, which is always kind of interesting to watch because, while you always love the games at the top of the table, having relegation always makes the lower games more fun to watch as well.
And they're going to cost money. I mean, when you get relegated, it costs your squad a lot of money. Go ahead.
Yes. Both teams coming off kind of up and down performances. This one's going to be, I think, really close to call. I don't have an opinion either way just because it depends on which type of team for each side shows up.
And I'm going to, spoiler alert, I do not have soccer bets this week. Ken, were you too busy? No, not at all. I'll go through some of the odds in these games. There is nothing I feel comfortable enough with putting together a 5-team parlay. And in terms of just upsets, I mean, if you want to throw some individual money on some games and try to put something together, there's your all you of the week. Your all you is the entire soccer bets because this week is not for that. Put the money onto the college football. Speaking of the game that you were just talking about, Sheffield United. Sheffield United is plus 220 to win, plus 250 for a tie, plus 120 for Bournemouth. Sure. All you. Our next game, Nottingham Forest, Brighton Hove Albion, 8th versus 14th. But honestly, two teams trying to get a grip on their form in the holiday break. 3 draws in a row for Brighton and 2 losses and 1 win for Forest. I have a question, and I have a question after I ramble. Forget the preview for a second. Have Brighton permanently lost their momentum? And I'm asking you this. And here's what I mean. Brighton have come up. They've been a Premier League side for a couple years now. They invested heavily in the club. They made it into Europe. Some of those top players have left. The return on some of those players has not been as quality as it was before. Okay. It is hard to go from a lower team and just be in Europe every week. Ask Leicester City how that went. Win a championship, go to the Champions League. Now they've been relegated. And while they have Mitoma, Ansu Fati of Barcelona, Yao Pedro, a young player with immense talent, Tariq Lamptey, Billy Gilmore, veterans like Danny Welbeck, Lallana, excuse me, Lewis Dunk, Solly March, James Milner. I don't think this squad has the quality anymore to stay up. Am I wrong? Not to stay in Europe. Am I wrong?
Yeah,
I know I threw a lot
I
at
don't,
you.
no, I don't think you're wrong. I think this is unfortunately one of those situations where, like a Leicester City, they don't get as much funding as those top teams. So they can't miss on signings. And I feel like they've missed on some, and I think that is the issue because they don't have the backing to go, oh, these 2 players that we signed for 40, 50 million don't work out. Here's 100 million more to buy 2 more $50 million players. They can't do that.
That's it. Brighton's done
So,
until next year.
yeah, so we'll see what
January, they're not
happens.
going to be able to do anything. I apologize.
Yeah. Maybe the international break will help get back into form. I like their manager. I think he does a lot really well. And also, if we're going back on the game, Nottingham Forest give up a lot of goals. They, like, regardless of who's in goal, either Matt Turner or the Greek goalkeeper that they replaced him with, I don't think it's a get back game for Brighton. I don't think they win and they're all of a sudden back to their current previous form where they were dominating. But I think it's a get right game. I think it's a win. It's a right the ship. I think it's a okay. We gotta win. Let's get back focused. And I think that's where we got there.
I understand. I agree. I wanted to ask, like I said, I agree with you. I wanted to ask the bigger overarching question because I think it's important. Like if you're a Brighton fan, is this it? Is this a one and done for Europe? And we're going to hope that maybe we can reset next year, and that's the other thing when we talk about it, when we talk about Champions League football, it is it's the most important tournament in world soccer that is not the World Cup or that is not an international tournament. I shouldn't say international tournament. It's the biggest thing in football that's not the World Cup. Period.
Yeah.
You have to play midweek games more often than you're used to. It's not just cup games, where during those cup games, like we've talked about before, our teams will play some reserves, they'll play backup goalies. That's not going to happen during Champions League football. And a lot of these smaller teams, when you don't have the fundage to have 22 quality A1 players, you're gonna dip and you're gonna be tired come the weekend time, and then you see the form dip in the league. And we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen to West Ham. recently. Now we're seeing it with Brighton. We saw it with Leicester City. We've seen it with Aston Villa years and years and years ago when you guys could actually play European football. Ooh, I know they're there. I know. I'm taking unnecessary shots. Leave me alone. Okay. But I agree.
Yeah.
Let's keep it going. Burnley, West Ham. Bottom of the table, Burnley. They're going to get better, everybody. I promise. But even like I said, the bottom of the table battles matter so much when there is hundreds of $1 million on the line with staying up and going down. Burnley and West Ham, bottom of the table, Burnley take on mid-table West Ham. West Ham coming off a win, and hopefully they can keep their momentum going after finally winning before the international break, before dropping three straight before that. Hammer should hammer. Hammer's gonna hammer. Hammer time. I'm out of hammer jokes.
No, I agree. Burnley have lost 6 in a row, 7 of their last 8. And West Ham finally righted the ship, so I can't say that both teams have been bad. And yeah, I think that continues. I agree. Hammer to hammer.
Yes. Eat. Hammer's gonna eat. Hammer's gonna eat.
I'm saving the last one. I'm saving the last one.
Luton Town, Crystal Palace, just out of the relegation zone. Luton Town take on 13th place Crystal Palace in another bottom of the. That's what these really are. They're bottom of the table, mid-table battles this week, which nobody wants to slide and everybody wants to come up. A young Crystal Palace team has to absolutely be careful this week against a Luton Town team out of relegation, like we just talked about, and is hungry to continue to stay out of there. But Palace should win here, no?
Yeah, no, I agree. Luton are playing better, but I think they're still struggling to score in that final third. And Crystal Palace's defense really isn't great. I think they're still pretty underwhelming. But I think the defense plays well enough for the attack to get some goals, and I think they win. Maybe not, by more than a couple goals, but I think comfortably.
I don't disagree with you there. I said they were going to get better. Fulham versus Wolverhampton, 15 versus 12 in another stay afloat battle. We told you this was the theme of the week. Fulham will return 2 Americans in decent form, regardless of the absolute shredding that we are going to do here in a couple minutes when we talk about the United States men's national team. Please stay tuned. But they're going to get 2 defenders absolutely in form in Tim Ream and Anton Robinson. But Wolves come in after a great late win against Spurs. Fulham have dropped 2 in a row. What do you see?
Yeah, Fulham's on a downturn, and while those defenders, Tim Ream and Anthony Robinson, while they did play really well, we'll get on it. They have to be very tired from that game, from both those games. And so I think that combination of Fulham just still not playing well in attack and Wolves playing better, I like Wolves. I do.
When you get angry and you start like folding, air and like folding the clothes that you're wearing and just
grabbing stuff.
We'll get there. A draw. I like a draw here. I really do. Odds for a draw, because we're talking about it, plus 230. I kind of like it there. Here we go. Kinda. Brentford versus Arsenal. Arsenal look to potentially take advantage of the 2 teams ahead of them. Spoiler alert, we'll talk about it. Playing and either move cleanly into second or possibly take back the top spot in the Premier League. I'm running out of places to reach up. The Gunners should absolutely take care of Brentford here. You tell me how the Bees can make them miss.
I don't think they can.
They can't. Well, they can because anything could happen, but they can't.
Yeah. Brentford was rolling. They were rolling, and then they got absolutely stomped by Liverpool. And I think they get stomped again because this Arsenal squad is rested. They didn't have anything. I think, they are going to roll.
And I think that's something to pay attention to with this Arsenal team. They have played very well, and then as they kind of get stretched and more competitions pop up, their form kind of dips. And then after that, they kind of get a rest and they go back up. So I think it's fair to look at. Our next one, Tottenham and Aston Villa. Here we go. 4th versus 5th. We got us a banger. Okay, let's go. And one of many this week, like I said, regarding of the beginning here, we've got some more. Spurs are in desperate need to stay in Champions League football right now and to prove that Big Ange Postecoglou can continue this turnaround. I nailed that. Okay, I nailed that pronunciation. But we said this team could not afford injuries, and they have that with red cards and suspensions. 3 wins and 2 losses in their last 5 for Spurs. Villa are 3-1-1 in their last 5. Yori Talisman, can he repeat his performance? Can John McGinn and Ollie Watkins stay on form for Villa? Can Spurs bounce back? Strabo.
If we're looking at squads, I think Tottenham have the better squad in general.
When
However,
full squads, only a roster, yes.
However, half of them can't play in this game.
Nope.
And so when it comes down to it, you have to look at what kind of tactics each manager is going to put out. I'm not going to go into details about the tactics. However, Unai Emery, the Aston Villa manager, has been in these spots before and honestly has improved this Aston Villa team more than we thought he could. And I think he gets his tactics perfect this week. He, wrong side, gets my last wing because he is going to eat and Postecoglou alive. And I think they are going to outclass Tottenham and win convincingly.
Our last turducken, our John Madden turkey leg goes to Unai Emery. I absolutely love you for that. Save one of those for me, though. I'm getting a little hungry. A game that honestly would have been put above or before the Spurs and Villa game until we had some big news come down this week, and that would be Everton Football Club. If you are not aware, Everton have been deducted 10 league points for violating the competition's profit and sustainability rules. AKA, they did some shady stuff with some.
Oh, look at that random comment. That's a great point, random commentator.
City next. Yeah. I mean, so first things first, Everton now sit in 19th place. That is what a 10-point deduction did to Everton. They were, and let me take a look here, they now sit at 4 points. They were at 14. 14 points would have been good for 14th place. Funny. And they would be sitting comfortably above relegation because relegation is now 5 points, 9 points clear, and in a pretty decent amount of form. A 10-point deduction now sits them 4 points, 2 points out from safety, understood, but just absolutely, gutted this Everton team. Now, do you want to preview the game or do you want to bring up the point that they just brought up? Let's talk Everton. Let's talk Everton. So, for those of you who are not aware, and I'm going to put the comment back up, City next. The reason the comment of City next coming is Everton were charged with, I believe it was one. Okay. 1 count. Okay. And were deducted 10 points. Last time I checked, Manchester City are facing over 100 of those same violations. Everton were accused of those violations a couple weeks ago, and that punishment has already been handed down. Manchester City were accused of these same accusations almost a year ago now, and still have yet to face a single sanction. Now, I think there are some obvious things to point out, and without getting too into the weeds here, Manchester City are owned by a Saudi conglomerate, which own a lot of teams. A lot of that money helps fund a lot of the things that help make soccer go. So it is not surprising that FIFA, the most corrupt organization that has ever existed in the history of sports, has done nothing to punish Manchester City. No one who has ever followed the Premier League for longer than 2 minutes is surprised by this. However, if Everton have lost 10 points for one violation, Manchester City should lose 100 points for their violations. Okay? Champions League medals should be taken away, trebles should be taken away, and Manchester City should go back to where they belong, which is in the second and third tier of English football. Yes, I said it. Glory, glory, Man United. I don't care.
Hot take.
Floor is yours.
No, listen, I completely agree. Unfortunately, I don't have much room to talk as my team sometimes has some iffy stuff going on behind the scenes when it comes to bringing and pulling out players. But it's never been on this scale before. And so to look at, a team like that just wins everything and blatantly, break rules that were set in place and get not as much as a slap on the wrist, not even that. It is frustrating at times. However, unfortunately, as a lot of soccer fans kind of have come to realize, that's just how the sport is going to work. There are clubs that are allowed to bend the rules and there are clubs that are not. And that all depends on how much you give to soccer. And so it's going to be how it's going to be. And I pose a question as a joke because that has been a running joke for probably 10 to 15 years now.
Did you write your own comment in? I love you for that.
Oh, yeah. I thought I did. Yeah.
I love you for that. That actually went over my head. So well done. Well done by you. Yeah, you got me on that one. The random commenter. I should have picked up on that. You're not wrong. I mean, we love this sport so much, but we also know that in this sport, money talks and blood money gets you World Cups. So that is the unfortunate truth to the game that we love so much. It's inevitable to not talk about it. Back to the game. Everton versus Manchester United. A big game regardless, just got bigger. Like I said, Everton were mid-table, now sit 19th. United, I know this is crazy, are the most informed team in the Premier League in league games.
What?
Yes. In their last 5, won 4, lost 1, most wins in the last 5 games of any league team. Listen, I'm just here to give you the stats because I don't believe that either. Everton were having a decent run, having won 3, lost 1, tied 1 in their last 5. But here's what I can tell you. Goodison Park, that is where Everton play, is going to be electric and angry and everything that you could ever put into a soccer game. It is going to happen in this one. That place is going to be absolutely electric. I cannot wait to see the scenes. I can't wait to see the pregame. Everton were flirting with relegation for the past 2 years. Instead of being angry at their team, the fans got absolutely behind their team and flares and send-offs every time the team was coming in. It is going to be amazing. This is another one of those must appointment watch games. Tune in for this. Find it on TV. If it's not and it's on Peacock, go find it there. Text me. I'll give you my login. I promise you this is worth watching. Like I said, Everton, soccer is a game where teams win this game. And I'm scared for my own United team. Injury concerns galore for my United. Rasmus Højlund, Christian Eriksen skipped international duty this week because of her injury. Andre Onana picked up a knock on international injury. Picked up an injury on international duty. So typical United, were banged up. Normally, I'll be honest with you, take the 10-point deduction away, and I would give you the same week in and week out speech. This is United. We're going to figure it out. We'll catch fire. I kind of like Everton in this game. I am not going to lie. Money-wise, if we want to talk about it, let's. Manchester United. You think, listen, we're not just talking about nonsense here. Manchester United plus 150 to win. Everton plus 180. The money is literally telling you this is not a lopsided game anymore because of the way this place is going to be. Plus 240 for a draw. Like I said, I normally I would go with my team. Now, let's get off of me. Let's talk about you. Because once again, you are in another big game of the week. Newcastle, Chelsea, Newcastle, 7th in the table, Chelsea 10th. I know a little lower than our other ones, but this is a major battle, and the floor is yours.
I would ask why we keep getting these big games back to back to back, but it appears we're doing better against those teams than we are the lower table teams. So I guess I can't complain too much. All right. So if Newcastle should learn anything from our games, is that you should not press like crazy. Because if you do, we're going to have the advantage.
Go off, sir.
Yeah. We have the advantage if they press. And Pochettino, Chelsea's manager, has proven to be able to break the press like no else. You've watched it against City, where it was a 4-4 draw. You watched it against Arsenal, where we were up 2-0 before they came back on us. And we proved it against Tottenham, where we beat them. So if Newcastle presses like Manchester City, Arsenal, and Tottenham do, Chelsea has the advantage. However, Newcastle, while having some newer injuries, have proven they play much better when they don't play 2 games in a week. And they just had 2 weeks off for international break. It's very hard. I love Chelsea, and their games have been exciting for the first time in so long. I've watched countless years of 70% possession and maybe a goal and us scraping by a win or even drawing, and it's looked terrible. We look exciting. We look electric. Yeah, we give up some goals, but we also score some finally. We're looking good. But a rested Newcastle that hasn't, had 2 games in a week at St. James's Park, which is Newcastle's hometown. And if we told you many times before, if you haven't already watch their Champions League games at home. They're absolutely electric. They're going to be electric. They're going to get up for this week because they haven't played in 2 weeks. Give me Newcastle, but prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, but give me Newcastle.
No chance. Chelsea all the way. I love doing it to you. I agree with what you said. I could hear it. Yes, I washed my hands. Newcastle plus 145. Chelsea plus 175. So
it's not terrible.
Plus 250 for a draw. Like I said, I like Chelsea. I do. Okay.
All right.
Our biggest game of the week. We alluded to it earlier. Number 1, number 2 in the table. Pep versus Klopp. Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Manchester City versus Liverpool. Your last 2 Premier League champions, your last 2 European champions to come out of England. I mean, this is why we do the pod. This right here is why we do the pod, baby. Both teams are in form. 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss for Manchester City. 3 wins, no losses, 2 ties for Liverpool. Can Liverpool's back line hold up against this vaunted Manchester City attack? Can Manchester City respond in a game where they can't just have control against a weaker opponent? City are only 1-2 in games this year. Their 1 win against Manchester United. We don't really attack and control the ball. We just counter. So that really doesn't count. But still, their only other 2 games against Big 6 opponents this year, Arsenal, Chelsea, both a loss and a 4-4 draw that they should have lost. So City are not just the invincible team, even though they are coming off of trouble. They are sitting on top of the league. We don't have to convince ourselves there's a title race. It's a title race. Okay? Talk to me about this amazing game.
Yes. Well, I first want to say the fact that this is it's 7:30 Eastern time here, that it means it's 12:30 start in Manchester. I think that's just disrespectful. I think this game should be under the lights at 5:30 in UK time, 12:30 here.
Yep.
But the fact it's the early game just feels so wrong to me.
It does.
But regardless of that, let's look at the game. City have won the last 2 meetings they've played against each other, but Liverpool won the last 3 before that. So streaks have been had against these teams. And I think the major key here is which Liverpool team shows up. Is it the one that beats Brentford 3-0, or is it the one that drew against Luton Town 1-1? It's going to be very close. But the one thing that is consistent between both those games that I just mentioned, Liverpool gives up chances really early. It takes them about 15 minutes to really lock in and dial in. And City is going to do that. City is going to get chances, and they're not Brentford. And I think that's their downfall. I think City go up early. I think they force Liverpool to play a different game than they want. And I think City wins 2-1.
That mic hot is coming through on me. You're absolutely right. You're spot on. Liverpool give up early goals. They give up leads, and it takes them a minute to get rolling. Now, when they get rolling and when they control a game and when they are hot, they can put 4 up. They can put 5 up, 6 and 7. The problem is Manchester City don't take a while to get rolling. They are rolling before they come out for kickoff. They are ready to go. There's already one in the back of the net during warm-ups, and they are on you. Liverpool does that this week. It will be 2-0. It will be 3-0 before Liverpool can turn around and get the ball out of the back of the net. Now, if Liverpool comes to play like a Jurgen Klopp team can, this is going to be an amazingly epic game. If not, City can roll this Liverpool team because of that back line. Now, it'll still end up being 4-3, 5-3, 5-4 because Manchester City can get attacked and countered on their own. But now, implications. Liverpool can go 2 points clear with a win. City could go 4 points clear of Liverpool. And depending on what Arsenal we see, we don't know about that. Here's another one. Spurs. Oh, Spursy Spurs. Sit on 26. Villa on 25. There are big implications, not just from the top 1 and 2, but literally, and I'm backing up here because I'm pulling up the Premier League table. This game has implications from 1 to 5. Okay. Let's say that City lose, Arsenal lose, Spurs lose, and Villa wins. We could have Villa sitting towards the top. It's nuts. So this game has everything riding on it. And I absolutely agree with Drew. It should be the prime time game. That has been a theme this week or this year. Us complaining about the scheduling because the scheduling has been awful in all sports this year. Get it together, sports writers who make the scripts. All right, get your scripts together and get your game times and your game places together. Okay, are you ready? Is everybody ready?
Hold on, we're taking this off.
Yeah, take it off.
They don't deserve the turkey.
They don't deserve the turkey. Something wrong with you, man. Yeah, no footy bets. Americans abroad, because that's where our Americans were. They were abroad. We have to talk about the United States men's national team friendlies. We're not going to be friendly about it. It's the last corny pun I'll use in this segment. There's a lot to say here, and none of it's good, if we're going to be completely honest, okay? So let's start with the first game. 4-0 win. Cakewalk. Easy run. Practice game. They beat Trinidad and Tobago 4-0. It was 0-0 for 81 minutes. Okay, Ken. It's an 11-on-11 game. Teams can drop back and play, a heavy shell defense. 43 of those minutes, the United States was up 11 men to 10 because of a red card. And Trinidad and Tobago still kept it 0-0 before an American explosion in 7 minutes saw 3 goals, one from Ricardo Pepi, one from Anton Robinson, one from Gio Reyna. 26 shots, 8 on target, 76% of the possession. Why was this so damn hard? And don't talk to me about Trinidad and Tobago bad luck.
No.
Because this was at home.
This first game was exactly what we all fear from a Greg Berhalter team. And we thought we had left this behind. This is a team that passes the ball around and has the ball the whole time, but isn't threatening for more than 10 minutes in an entire game. And it's so disappointing because this Trinidad and Tobago team had 10 men, like you said, for a majority of the game. And you have to be able to break a team down that sits back because you aren't going to, like, yes, in the later rounds of the World Cup, you are going to play those teams that are going to come at you. But those earlier games where you are definitely better, you are going to get teams like what Morocco did, like what Croatia did, where they sit back, they wait. And again, like how we're going to go on, what the Netherlands did against us. They sat back, they let us play with the ball, and they knew that we could not do anything to threaten them. And that's exactly what Trinidad and Tobago did. They got down to 10 men, and they went, well, this is going bad for us. Let's sit back. And the fact that we can't break down a team that right now in the FIFA rankings are 88 spots below us is unacceptable because you have the talent, regardless of the people that were out this window. You have the talent to be able to break down these teams. And the fact that we're not after 5 years in the Greg Berhalter era is just unacceptable.
Chobu had a hand in it. Yeah, you're right, bro. I'm not. So that was game one. Cool. Game one.
Game two. But we won. But
right.
We won.
We did. We won 4-0. And then some absolute phenomenal attacking play in that 7 minutes. Brute force. Go in, get the goals, take care of business, get your 3 points, 4-0 in the aggregate, because now we're going to fly out to Trinidad and Tobago, a place where we have had some horrific luck. We didn't qualify for a World Cup because we couldn't get out of that place with a damn draw. It is just a horrible place for us to go. It's not great. So we learned from our mistakes in game one. We flew out to Trinidad and Tobago, and we handled game two, right? No, not even close. I apologize, Mom. I was literally about to go all kinds of F-bombs on the pod, and I'm not going to do that. I apologize. 2-1, Trinidad and Tobago. The Americans took an early lead behind a diving Anton Robinson header, absolute beautiful goal in the 24th minute. And now we have to talk about it. Before Serginho Dest did what I could only describe as lose his entire damn head, his entire brain, completely embarrass himself, completely embarrass his team, completely embarrass his jersey, completely embarrass the crest. Yes, all of that. I'm doing one of those right now. Unacceptable behavior. If you didn't see, a couple seconds before Serginho Dest was fouled, the referee did not blow the whistle. The ball went out of play. Serginho Dest kind of threw a fit. Okay, understandable. I get it. Move on. 20 seconds later, ball gets played into the back. Serginho Dest gets too close to the line with it, tries to keep it in. Could argue either way. I don't really care. In doing so, Serginho decided to get into it with the ref. After his first missed tackle, or the play he thought he was fouled, you then have this play. A player is frustrated. Everyone is okay right now. Everyone is okay with you, Serginho. He gets a little mouthy. He gets a yellow card. So Serginho Dest then, does what any player does, right? He takes it, he accepts it, he turns around, he walks back, and he moves on. No, Serginho Dest decided to lose his mind and continue to yell and scream at the referee, even though his captain, Tim Ream, and other defenders Weston McKinney was in the area, not a defender, not Weston McKinney. Musa was in the area. Gio Reyna was in the area. Everyone trying to get Serginho Dest to calm down. He would not stop, berated the referee, yelled, screamed, cussed at the referee. Second yellow card in 2 seconds. Red card. See you later. Unacceptable behavior. Continued to argue with his captain and his goalkeeper as he was being sent off the field, literally stopping from walking off the field to turn and argue with Tim Ream and then get into it with Matt Turner on his way out as well. Nothing about this was okay. Nothing about this was okay. There are times where red cards happen. I've had one. I understand it. You accumulate a yellow. You make a bad tackle. Sometimes but nothing about this was it happens. Every part of this was you, Serginho Dest. I'm sorry. Every part of this was you not shutting up, not stopping the argument. This shit was straight Draymond, okay? But at least the refs have it out for Draymond sometimes. Nobody had it out for you but you on this. And yes, I understand Serginho Dest has come out and apologized, and he said he absolutely embarrassed his teammates. He embarrassed himself, and you damn right you did, because it was unacceptable. And you're too talented and you're too mature of a player, as I've seen so far, to have something like that happen at Trinidad and Tobago. Go ahead. I'll get to the other half of the game here in a second, but we're going to hit on this for a minute.
No, yeah, listen, what Dest did was absolutely inexcusable. And
I know I sound like a get off my lawn grandpa.
No, listen, you are absolutely right, because now when you go into games coming up, Copa America, against South American teams that, not even going to lie, look for fouls. Now you are going up against players that look at you, because he's going to start. He's the best right back we have by a mile. It's just facts. He's going to start. They're going to look at him and go, if I can get it under his skin, I can get him sent off.
Absolutely.
And they are going to attack him. They are going to berate him. They are going to make him get mad. And now, you've shown to the world that it's possible, and that you have thin skin, and you are going to get mad, and you are going to just completely embarrass yourself and put your team at a loss without any care. And so, while it is one mistake and one isolated incident, unfortunately, this can lead to so many other things that just hurts the team, not just then, but months down the line.
And we have given Serginho Dest a lot of credit for being a player who was not exactly in form at the beginning of our pod life, okay? And what was the first thing we said on the first pod? Serginho Dest is a player that comes in for the national team, puts on the red, white, and blue, and it just clicks, and he just goes. He's in form brilliantly with his club right now. Some of the best form he's ever been in before a pre-Barcelona transfer. And then you come here where you're normally at home and you're normally even better, and you just short circuit. And maybe I went too harsh. Maybe I'll clip this and I'll go and I'll get taken to task for it in the future. But just here in that moment, that was just unacceptable. And it wasn't what we want to see from one of our bright young players. And what was also bothersome to me was, yes, there's no Weston McKennie. Yes, there's no Tyler Adams. No, there wasn't any Christian Pulisic. No, there was no Timothy Weah. So no, you are missing some key veterans. Tim Ream was right there. Cameron Carter-Vickers was right there. Jonas Musa was right there. Matt Turner was right there. And I'm sorry, as somebody who played center defense, and as somebody with you who played center defense and goalie as yourself, those are your two captain positions on the field. If those two players are pulling you aside and trying to talk to you, you shut up and listen. So I know Serginho Dest will be back. I know you will be back, Serginho. And I know you will learn from this. And just in this moment, you got to eat this. And he did. I do want to give him credit. He has absolutely taken this within minutes of the game. He took this all to himself. He took it on the chin. He took his L and he ate it. And I respect him 100% for it. That doesn't mean you're immune to the criticism and the ripping. Now, back to the game. It was 1-0 when Serginho Dest was sent off. Rion Moore then tied it up less than 10 minutes later. And with the USA just in shambles defensively, we were all over the place. Trinidad and Tobago looked like world beaters, and all of a sudden we're playing the ball all around us. Then we got to the halftime. We get into the second half, 57th minute. Alvin Jones gave Trinidad and Tobago a lead off a great hit on a free kick that Matt Turner absolutely fumbled. And we will touch with our resident goalie here in a second on that. But the U.S. would then go on to win on aggregate 4-2, lose the game 2-1. That sucked.
Yeah, no, that sucked. I don't think that I would ever think that a window in the international break where We advanced in the semifinals of the Nation League and qualified for Copa America. I never thought I would feel this bad. The dust incident was bad. However, let's move on. The fact that no changes were made to this team until the 65th minute of the game, I think is beyond inexcusable.
The only change that was made is he took off Gio Reyna, left 2 strikers on, and put on Joe Scally as a defender. And I'll be honest, and we love Joe Scally. Joe Scally came on and was head on a swivel because he was getting turned all around, and none of them were prepared. Where you could have used Gio Reyna, maybe one less striker, Greg. I'm just saying, Greg.
Right. And then finally, in the 65th minute, you put out an attacking midfielder Malik Tillman. So finally changing for this up. You have a defensive midfielder on the roster. Leonard Maloney was right there. You threw him in at a time. Use him. Like, if he's not good enough to help when we need someone in that position, don't call him up into the squad. Exactly. Right. So it makes absolutely no sense that we were playing this fast-paced passing offense down a man with one less midfielder and 2 strikers that they couldn't get the ball to. It doesn't make any sense, because it seems that Greg Berhalter plays down to his opponents every single time. And it seems like he's trying to work something here. In the first game, he played like a 4-2-2-2, which, if those who don't know, is a very narrow position. You have no width whatsoever. And when you're playing a 19-year-old Kevin Paredes and I forget who else on the other side that are natural wingers and like wide midfielders, Malik Tillman, they don't know what to do.
No.
And so it doesn't make any, like, it seems like he's putting these positions in just to see what happens, to see if he can get something to work. And he's not actually trying to play these people at their best position. And he's putting this team at a disadvantage because of it. And you saw it in both games this window against a not good Trinidad and Tobago team. Literally every single person, except for maybe Anthony Robinson and Gio Reyna, looked bad this window. Everyone else, man, it was absolutely awful.
And it's weird playing the same team twice. I understand that, but I also feel like you should then at least have a competitive game and not be competitive because of a red card. But man, it's almost like our national team is coached by a guy who could barely do better than the MLS and really just doesn't have a lot of tactics. Oh, wait, we are. Okay. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. We had opportunities to bring in better coaches. U.S. Soccer decided to stay with Greg. Yes, Drew.
We do have one good note. Maybe not the men's national team, but
we do. Speaking of American coaches,
yes,
the United States women's national team has news. Give it to us.
Yes. So after a very poor performance in the World Cup, maybe not, unexpected. People knew that they were going to, crash out, but maybe not that early. United States women's national team relieved their previous manager of his services, and have hired a new coach. Former MLS veteran and Chelsea manager, women's manager, Emma Hayes, has been signed on to a very large contract from what I've heard. I haven't heard all the details yet, but a very decent contract.
It is being reported that if she is not making as much as Greg Berhalter, she is making more.
So it was a very big splash. Emma Hayes comes with countless accolades in MLS and in Chelsea. The Champions League, the Women's Champions League, always eluded her. She was super, super close for these Chelsea teams, but won back-to-back leagues in the Women's Premier League for Chelsea. Players rave her countlessly. Players love her. She got the best out of that entire Chelsea team. And while it pains me to see her leave Chelsea, I am so thrilled to see what she can do with this very young and very moldable women's national team that is finally moving on from the veterans. They gave them a lot of success, but are finally starting to retire. And, that need new blood. And so I think this is a very exciting time for United States women national team fans.
Absolutely. The second golden generation of U.S. women's soccer players, that obviously that first generation, your Mia Hams and your Wambachs, they're gone. Now that second generation, the Rapinos and the Ertz and
Morgan.
Alex Morgan, who's still there but will not be very far behind. Rapino, those they're gone now too. So now you have this next generation, and that is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but anyway, Alex Morgan, who may not have left, they just called up their first squad for Emma Hayes' first couple of games. Alex Morgan is not on the list, so
Right.
they are trying to fully go new.
Absolutely. Now I think Alex Morgan will play a part in more important games.
Oh, yeah.
The veteran that you want to bring on, but like you said, that next generation has moved on, and she's going to bring in the next one. What I do want to point out, also, I want to give a shout out. Mom just sent me a text. We're on the big screen, the new big screen at the house that they just got on the 70-inch. I hope I look good on the 70-inch, Mama. I hope the beer shining through and you don't see.
I know I look good, so I'm good.
Ooh, tell him, bro. Tell him, bro. Emma Hayes. You could argue, and I will say this, we would be as excited if you hired her from the men's team at this point. This is an accomplished coach. This is a smart coach. This is a good coach. Like he said, back Premier League, women's Premier League titles with Chelsea. She knows what she's doing. Shout out to them. The Women's Federation has never been afraid to take chances on coaches, never been afraid to hire international coaches, never been afraid to splash money for a top coach. I'm not about to go on another rant, but I'm just saying. The women have success. Now, in terms of golden generations of soccer, they've kind of had two. Their golden generations were better than every other country's golden generations. The United States men's team has yet to have a golden generation that is better than every other country's golden generation or every other team at the time. This team is going to be there in a couple of years and it's going to have a chance to compete, but we're not there yet. But we can't do it with this coach. But
that's
Emma Hayes, so glad to have you aboard the United States women's national team. I know we haven't talked about a lot about the women's national team, but unfortunately, when we started this pod, they were just done with their World Cup. So we kind of have a lull right now. But as they get more important games going on, we're going to touch and cover them too. We know the women's national team has just as big of a following as the men. We are followers as well. It just so happens that the men's schedule has spread out into more important games right now. Wow, that was the most. Thank you, Emma Hayes, for saving Americans abroad. Okay, that was about to be the most depressing Americans abroad of all time until you absolutely came in and saved it. So thank you, Emma Hayes, for that. So, to do a little bit of recap. A little bit of crunch stuff this week I told you about. I'm just going to sprinkle in there the schedule coming up this year. Oh, got to pull the banner down so you can make sure you see those bottom games. Okay. Might be seeing two guys at the home games. Some stuff going on. Just teasing. Just letting you know. Some stuff. Okay. So that's going on with the crunch. Like we talked about, Saturday, 9:30 a.m., live on Facebook, live on the 216 Sports Network YouTube page, the Straub Bros Sports Show College Preview. We will be live. We will be taking you through every big game in the country. OSU, Michigan, Oregon State, Tiffin versus Slippery Rock. Yeah, we're hitting the D2 as well. Okay. If it's big game this week, we are going to talk about it. And as I told you earlier, 216 Sports Network, longtime viewers, Mel of 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth, he will be joining us on that show to talk Ohio State, Michigan. So we'll be bringing him in. We're going to have a nice little setup, going to have a nice little background. We are so excited for what we are about to bring you on Saturday that it may have actually slipped us up a little bit today, and we do apologize for that, okay? Mom's already ready. Look at her. OH, we know it, okay? And the UMs are coming, all right? We know it. So check in with us for that. That is going to be an awesome show. We got some good stuff coming up for you as well. Also, go to the YouTube page. check out the Midwest Regional Championships that Mel was taking part of last weekend. Amazing coverage, amazing footage. Shout out to those kids. They played their absolute hearts out. Go over to the YouTube page, give them some love with some views, shout them out, give us some subscribe, join us and be a subscriber. We absolutely love and appreciate you. Like we said, that like and that follow. Jay, he's going to be coming soon. He might have something coming up actually very, very soon. I'm not going to spoil anything because I'm not putting people's business out there, but he's coming very soon on this network to come and talk to you about hoops. 4th and 15 with Mel and Smooth. As always, the Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee. Cannot talk this week. The Ruler's Minute with Rico McGee. Yeah, coming to you. Crunch Time with Mel and Ken. Coming to you. And the Straub Sports Show. You already know. Okay? Now, hopefully, even though we were a little kind of all over the place, you rolled with us this week. We didn't do a preview, and we still managed to talk for 2 hours. I mean, because that's what we do. All good.
Yeah.
Bro, it's good to see you home. It's good to have you home, even though you're not quite here with me yet. But I will see you on Friday for the Akron game, and I will see you Saturday for our live pod. I love you. Enjoy your Thanksgiving tomorrow. Everyone else, please enjoy your Thanksgiving as well from the Straub Bros Sports Show. For Andrew Straub, I am Ken Straub. And as always, please remember to love yours.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.